Jamie Dimon, he's up to his old tricks again, telling the world Bitcoin is bad while secretly filling his and his company's bags with all kinds of Bitcoin-related stuff. But don't take my word for it. You can see for yourself. Today's video brings a stark reminder on why we never trust what the banking cartels say. Can't trust the banksters, guys. Look at what they actually do, because there's often a big gap between the two. And of course, Jamie, no one's forgotten about the cocaine boat, okay? Okay, so real talk. Let's talk about JP Morgan. Who is the real JP Morgan? To most of the world, Jamie's just some banker, bro, here to do what's in the best interest of JP Morgan and its clients. So they must have this stunning record, of course, with, being upright banking citizens and be in good terms with the SEC, right? Right? More like, yeah, right. Over the past decade, Jamie and his crony buddies, his crony company, have been fined hundreds of millions of dollars by the SEC. Everything from leaking customer identities, mishandling deposits, whoops, government corruption, yeah, it happens, cooking their books, not once, but twice, manipulating the metals markets. And that's not all, folks. JP Morgan is so corrupt that the SEC actually has two separate books open on Jamie's lovely, lovely bank there. Adding, of course, violating whistleblower protections and manipulating U.S. treasuries, misleading customers, and 3 more counts of fraudulent trading activity. That's just the tip of the iceberg. It goes much deeper. Everything from conflict of interest to concealing losses and manipulating mortgage-backed securities. If there is a market that can be manipulated or screwed over or somehow corrupted, JP Morgan has done it or is doing it right now, bringing the grand total of more than $1 billion in fines over the past decade, which is, of course, the equivalent of a speeding ticket for JP Morgan. Needless to say, you should trust JP Morgan about as far as you can throw them, and it's pretty big, so you can't really throw it very far. And that's, of course, just the SEC. What about everyone else that Jamie's been kind of screwing over? Well, it turns out even the Fed has had it with JP Morgan's bullshit and their market misconduct, issuing a $350 million fine alongside the OCC just a few weeks ago. Crikey. Failing to monitor billions in trading across at least 30 different markets. Because why would they? They don't care. And they're corrupt. Don't worry, as a spokesman for the bank stated, the firm has self-identified the issue. It's just like, no biggie, brah. Don't worry about it. It's not going to disrupt, of course, JP Morgan's current business ventures. And it's not likely we actually, it's not like we actually hurt anyone, right? According to JP Morgan. Well, as a member of the Global Financial Crimes Compliance Agency, which, by the way, specifically covers global and economic sanctions, JP Morgan, check this out, was able to somehow bypass U.S. sanctions to protect more than $260 million in tax breaks for Russian oligarchs that banked with Jamie. Pays to have powerful friends in powerful places, doesn't it? At the same time, JP Morgan's playing the other side of the fence, also working with Ukrainian President Zelensky on financial aid to help rebuild the country. Bankers, man, always on both sides of the wars, aren't they? If there's a pot of money, you can guarantee that Jamie has his grubby little hands, guys. I'm not going to say the other thing in it, okay? So that is who Jamie is. That is what JP Morgan does. What about Bitcoin? How does this all relate to Bitcoin, Lark? Please tell me. Well, before we get into that, and there is some serious correlation to Bitcoin here, if you want to stay up to date with all the latest happening in crypto, from Bitcoin to altcoins, airdrops, DeFi, and much, much more, then you should sign up 100% to the Wealth Mastery newsletter, my newsletter. It's awesome. You can actually sign up for free using the link down below in the description or the pinned comment on X to join our more than 110,000 weekly readers. Check it out. Now that we've established Jamie's business tactics and how JP Morgan has acquired its $3 trillion plus in assets, what does this have to do with Bitcoin? I'm glad you asked. Well, let's start by taking a quick look at Google and searching for JP Morgan. Just a basic search here. Yeah, pretty much the same thing that we have been hearing for years. Bitcoin's done for. Bitcoin's overbought. Bitcoin's worth nothing. Trash. You're an idiot if you buy Bitcoin. But wait. You see that down the bottom? Did you catch that? What's this something about Riot and the halving? Well, Jamie seems really interested in that. Well, what's Riot again? Oh, that's right. Only one of the biggest Bitcoin mining companies in the world and the biggest Bitcoin mining company in North America, who just so happens to be building some of the largest Bitcoin infrastructure in the world. Interesting. And guess what? Jamie definitely wants to stick his hands in that pot, enough to issue out one of the highest price targets of the year and pump the stock in the process. But why would he want to do that? Could it be that along with BlackRock, Vanguard, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, all the usual cast of villains, that JP Morgan actually owns Riot shares? Of course. But hold on a second, Jamie. I personally think that Bitcoin is worthless, but I don't want to be a spokesman for it. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. I don't think you should smoke cigarettes either, but now it comes into like, okay, that's Jamie, now JP Morgan. Our clients are adults. They disagree. That's what makes markets. So if they want to have access to buy or sell Bitcoin, it's hard. We can't custody it, but we can give them legitimate, as clean as possible access. Bitcoin's worthless. You don't care, right? You compared Bitcoin to smoking. Surely Jamie wants you to think that.
I don't really get. That's the point, okay? And blockchain is real, it's technology, but Bitcoin is not the same as a fiat currency.
And also, he would really, really like you to think this.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case because it is somewhat anonymous, not fully, and because you can move money instantaneously, and because it doesn't go through, as you mentioned, all these systems have been built up over many years, know your customers, sanctions, OFAC, they can get bypass all of that. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
But when he and other anti-Bitcoiners like Elizabeth Warren get together, he goes from "I don't give a shit" to "shut it all down" in microseconds. Like that. Meanwhile, if you head over to the JP Morgan website, you will find that public statements do not match reality. You will find the only mention of Bitcoin actually paints a relatively bullish case for it, closing with, for those looking to invest in Bitcoin, wait for it, get in touch with your JP Morgan advisor today. Classic. And let's not forget, just a few years ago when JP Morgan replaced real estate with crypto as its preferred alternative asset class. But even all this pales in comparison to what I'm about to tell you next. Everyone knows that BlackRock's iShares is one of the largest Bitcoin ETF funds available. But did you know who BlackRock named as its authorized participant? I'm sure you'll be shocked. That the legal entity that's expected to provide liquidity to their Bitcoin ETF is, you guessed it, JP friggin' Morgan Chase. To which they, of course, graciously accepted BlackRock's offer. They love making money, and they see Bitcoin as a market that they can probably pretty easily manipulate. Not forgetting at the exact same time that some mystery whale shows up out of nowhere, placing a secret Bitcoin bid. And wouldn't you know what Jamie did? Well, he reversed all that smack that he was talking just last December. When presented with the lure of a $1 million Bitcoin, Jamie has another thing coming, of course, if he thinks that we are all stupid enough to not see the shenanigans that JP Morgan routinely pulls and Jamie's bullshit more broadly. Jamie and JP Morgan are market manipulators, master market manipulators. They are masters at the baiting. After all, saying one thing and doing the exact opposite is what banks do best. Never trust what they say, only watch what they actually do. And in this situation, there's a big gulf between those two things. Anyway, thankfully, they're pretty terrible at it, causing us to have lots of great content here on YouTube. They're terrible at everything, generally, making it all fairly obvious to anyone who's actually looking close enough and paying attention. The problem is most people don't get close enough, which is why we made this video, so that you're aware to not trust their bullshit. But more and more people are taking note of the massive hypocrisy of these mega banks, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. So you can pretend you don't care about Bitcoin for as long as you want, Mr. Dimon. We'll just keep verifying how much you do. Thanks for watching.